and this is Alina here. In this episode, we will be building a mining industry for Lithos. As we have heard of the name Lithos, it comes from Greek for stone, so it's the city of stone. And so here we have gotten a mining industry set up with some signs telling myself so I don't forget what's happening. This is what we've got so far. 2 cranes facing the giant ravine, and in there I've placed some raw diorite to show it's getting mined up, and there's a bit left behind. And then up here we have the gross chiseling, where they would be chiseling the general shapes. And then behind we have fine chiseling, which is where the details are made. Beside here, we have a boiler room to power the cranes because the stones are very heavy. On the other side of the ravine, we have a control/management room, which is where people will oversee the quarry. I wrote admin, pretty much the same thing. And up there we can see a bunch more buildings. This is where the labs are. Let's just imagine that Lithos people are doing their experiments with diorite there. To be honest, it's actually a large collection of small farms, like a dripstone lava farm, a dripstone growing farm. Fun fact, you can actually grow dripstone. And stuff like that, sea pickles and so on. So without further ado, let's get building. For this build, I am going to be using basalt and diorite to create an industrial vibe, and maybe add some blackstone on the roof. Oh man, did I left all my resources at the townhouse? I hope I didn't. There's some diorite. More diorite. It's at the townhouse. Great. And that's all the diorite I've got. Okay, I have to go back. I really have to go back. Fortunately, I have connected the townhouse and lower Lithos with another portal, so that's gonna be faster. No climbing up and down hills. It's just this close. You can see we're back here with this large randomly shaped house that I've built. That was my starter base. So I have collected some in the nether off camera. Let's just want those. Let's see where I left my diorite. Or do I have diorite at all? Okay, I do. It's in the house. And that should be enough for a bit more time before we have to jump in the mines again. Okay, I dumped all the spare diorite up there. So let's climb some vines. I love how you can climb these, it's so interactive. That's my large storage system. I really like the copper bulbs and how they actually give off some light. And let's send ourselves back to the nether. No, not this portal, that goes to another roof. So, oof. Let's see if I can pull it off. I did. Ow. Yeah, villagers are not the most friendly things regarding lag. I think I should be fine. I should be fine. Yeah, villagers get into the nether. I need to protect my portals better, it seems like. And it's snowing again. Good. And if you're curious why there is lava here, this is a two-smith forge. vibes, very hot vibes. It's very hot. And sometimes it catches fire, but they don't burn. I've made sure about that. And some cool floors I'm using basalt. That you can consider that as part of the industrial area. And here we can pass through the pagoda and the gazebo. And we will get started on the admin building because it's the closest one. Let me get my chisel out. And let's see what works the best for columns. Let's just use the very classic polished basalt. This works. And admin will be like a comfortable office with a grander first floor, because that's where the important people go. So let's go 4 and then the block for the second floor. So let's do this. Snow is a bit annoying because it covers everything. All the colorful stuff that, not exactly colorful, but different shades of the stuff I've made. I'm going for a more simplistic style here just because the mines are like factories and they like to be cost efficient, I assume. By the way, I am trying like different styles of doing the videos, so it'd be really great if you can tell me which episodes you like better so I can stick to that as a good style. Okay, it's getting very dark. I do not want villagers to turn into witches, so let's crash on the bed real quick. Another new day, and let's continue with the admin building. So I'm not going to do a frame because we want a simplistic style. Yeah, I usually grab more basalt. No, blackstone than basalt just because blackstone is slightly more difficult to come by compared to basalt. So I always want to make sure I have enough blackstone in stock for whatever I'm thinking about. So I think I messed up. Yes, I did. So I forgot I have haste. Yes, I have it. We put beacon in the pagoda because I personally am not a big fan of beacon pyramids just chilling around. I love to stuff them inside the roof of pagodas. So it looks like it's a magical pagoda with a beam sticking out of it. Hooray! So we're getting close to finishing the frame of the first level. And then the next part is to just do a, not a massive, but a decently big floor pattern. And let's just stick to some of the simpler tiles. I like slanted because it looks like there are nails, which make it a bit more believable for a factory, quarry setting. Let's just go around with the raw diorite. This is just for the admin building because they like nice stuff. For the rest of the factory, I'm just going to go with basalt flooring because basalt is cheap material. Given that now I have a maxed beacon in a basalt delta, it's considered cheap for me. So let's see what we want to do with the next layer. I kind of like the dented one. And let's just do it for every other ball so we can create a cool mosaic type feel. And we can finish off with this so it looks a bit darker. And let's fill them all in with raw dirt. And that is the second floor's ground done. The first foreground, actually, I'm just going to be lazy and I'm just going to use some basalt because it's the first floor and they want first floors to be robust because who knows. Upper floors, they can keep cleaner because there's less soot in there, I guess. At least with the brown snow. I really need to remember to do the proper flooring of buildings. Oh dear. Maybe there'll be this one episode where I just search around town and figure out the flooring for all the flooring that's just snow or like dirt or something like that. Okay. Let's see what we can do with our basalt. Use that for the edges. This video I'm going to see what would happen if I try to avoid speeding it up because I was kind of concerned about the previous episode being too motion sickness inducing, so I'm trying something different this time, just so you know. Where is my polished basalt? So if there's something that is suboptimal with the episodes, just tell me because I really appreciate your feedback. I am new to YouTube, so feedback is awesome. Let's put it this way. So I like this one. Is it too noisy? Maybe please. I like this just because of how light it is and how that creates good contrast. And here we've got it, a custom designed floor pattern. So that should be nice enough for, and take this down for the door. And we're just going to use stairs to craft a nicer window pattern. And I hear a stone cutter. I need this. Let's employ you somewhere else. Speaking of villagers, I actually like for my villagers to roam free. So yes, occasionally I struggle to find some villager, but I prefer that my villagers have human rights, let's say it this way. Let's grab some nice stairs. Let's use the very simple window pattern where I just frame it with stairs. I am guilty of using this way too many times, but I mean, it's a nice pattern. It makes your windows a bit fancier without overwhelming it with detail. So the only issue is it's a bit tedious to climb out of the inside. Let's put it this way. And because I actually do not want these. Because there's a bit more space, it makes sense that we can have a balcony overhang and like a roofed entrance. So people can converse in fresh air while not being bothered by the snow, let's put it this way. I feel bad for the stray cats. Like, I really want to tame them, but I never remember to bring the raw fish in it because I only eat cooked fish. Yum. So this is almost done. One more to go. And then just the doors. Okay, this is the first floor done. So we need some stairs. I always craft stairs to get up because I mean, if villagers want to get up, then I should be able to get up. Let's put it this way. Put this out the side here. So, boom, on the second floor. I do not think so is a good idea for the balcony just because of how intense the color is. So let's use some diorite. Let's go with tile because the size can be decided. Ignore what I just said. And it's time to crash on the bed. And on the ground. Let's get EP. Because we don't want scary monsters. Also, it would be great if I figure out where my 1000 diorite is, of which it is not at home. It keeps pointing me to my sugar boxes, but I was so sure there was more diorite somewhere, right? I mean, that would be enough maybe for today. But intensive building takes a big toll on my diorite supplies. And I need 4 black stone for supports. Let's go with bricks this time. And I actually prefer these to be basalt. We still have basalt, that's a good thing. Otherwise I have to go collect some. And how should we find some? I do have walls, so walls and a ground here. Let's see how much more walls we need. So I actually want 4, 5, maybe 20. So here I have a small walkway down here and a balcony up there. Perfect. Now let's move this upstairs and we can start the second floor. We want this to be 3 stories tall. I might make it 4 just so I can see the boiler room, because the last thing we want is for there to hypothetically be a fire in the boiler room and the admin do not know anything about it. That would be an absolute disaster and definitely something we don't want happening if we were in Lithos. Again, my vision of Lithos is making it someplace that I would personally be like, sure, why not I try living here. Let's just make this 3 high. Bottom is 5, so I'm just gonna make this 4 high. Should be enough for admin. We are running out of dialogue. Let's get more. Let's go more. Oh, I have snow. I didn't even realize I had snow. Well, you know what that means? That means all of this is going to get a ground 1 block higher. And let's finish this floor. So I'm just going to copy the floor pattern onto the 3rd floor before it gets covered by snow. And mental note to myself, I should be also leaving resources to do the little roofs. Give the signature Lithos vibes, let's call it this. They are so classic for Lithos. Some of you may wonder whether I would plan to build in some other style that uses more colors, let's say. And yes, that is in my plans. So get excited for that. I will notify y'all when I do eventually change my build style. But now I want to finish up Lithos. And the flooring is done. Drop 2 floors down, get back up to access my stone cutter. Okay, I only have 40%. That is never going to be enough. I guess I didn't wish it. That's fine. That is more decent. Let's go with the bricks for this one. And let's do the classic. I'll keep it like this. It's not a big deal. I am pretty much done with my deep slate phase because of how obnoxiously difficult deep slate is to collect. So now I am a very Blackstone style person because Blackstone is mined with haste, so I can but access it in bulk if I need to. Get more inventory space. And from what I'm looking at, it's getting dark again. So after I finish the roof here, or use up materials because it doesn't seem like I have enough, let's go crash on a bed. Seems like now it's not dark enough. Okay. Like this and light this up. Okay, now it's dark enough. Oh, very funny. Speed run back home. If you would call that a home. I mean, I do have a roof over my head, so I guess you have to call it a home. But these things are what I jokingly call apartments. I mean, they aren't stacked directly on top of each other like normal apartments are in a city, but they are stacked kinda on top of each other because of how obnoxiously hilly Lithos is. I mean, I'm playing amplified, so everything is obnoxiously hilly, to be fair. Let me just... this is going to be a challenge. And I can't jump up there. Seems like I'm forced to do this. Just realized how long this is getting, so don't be alarmed if this is split over 2 episodes. because I'm not going to speed up this video, it's just going to be real time. And on the last slice I'm out. Get the stone cutter upstairs and cut out exactly one. Very funny. One. Direct. And let's cut out some more roofs. Why not roof here? So let's do this. So now ready for third floor. Let's see if we can see. So actually, I'm going to leave this like this because I need to build the boiler room and the fine processing room to see how much the fine processing building blocks the boiler room. Because the idea is I want to see everything from here. Get some snacks, and let's go on our way to start the other side, the non-admin side. Actually, what would happen if I actually roof this area? Of course, I'm going to climb the roof. Because it's looking a bit protruding for me. Then where I use a lot of the roof. And I'm just going to hop in. I just remembered how easily things get broken here. I just wanted to move these exactly one block out and fill the ground with snow. Starting to take a decent shape. Yeah. That looks like a building I'd be happy to work in, so I guess we're on the right tracks. And I'm just gonna make this feel a bit more reinforced. Yeah. Let's ignore that one. Let's shift our focus to the other side of the ravine. Let me grab my bed because we'd be reasonably far from here to justify moving camp. Fun fact, it's the same speed to break a bed regardless what, so don't waste the durability on your pickaxe or whatever. Of course, ringing a bell is fun. So let's work on the workshop. First, these two have to go because the stone is going to be pushed in here. I might add rails, but rails will mess with path finding, so I'm hesitant to add rails, and I'm going to imagine a behemoth of for nice and tall. So there can be nothing that jams the entrance, let's say. Let's create some variation. Let's use this one because it looks cool. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But actually, there's a lot of stuff coming, but they should be almost ready to be carted away, so I imagine they're not insanely big. So 6 blocks should be reasonably enough. I have a direct shortage. Oh yeah, I bounced on the bed. For storage, because I imagine that they will have a lot of tools. I have another idea. Maybe if we don't want to block the boiler room, this part of it can reach higher while this part just has a roof over its top. But regardless of where, there has to be a roof surrounding the area. So let's get this going. And we're out of stuff. I did not land that. That's fine. A lot of polished stairs. Actually, more. And we're gonna crash on the bed. We're going to get some stairs. Completely out of diagonal stairs. Lovely. Stairs will go here. Look for myself. Let's pave it with basalt. Let's be supporting. So this. And should be enough. Let me just finish doing the surrounding roofs. Down here and reinforce these since it's not this out. So that it has a bit of a raw industrial tone to it. Now let's do the roof. Should we make it white so it contrasts? Actually, most roofs are just directly black, so let's just make it directly black because that's how most of the buildings are. Should just like be 45 degrees, so nice and sharp. Nice and sharp, nice and full. And let's do some very basic design here. And let's see if we can make I need some episode that was not cut. I mean Blackstone. I like this one. It looks like a charred log, but it works so good for roofs. That's the first part of it done. Second part of it, since it's kind of like agate, let's bump it up by 2 blocks. Before we roof it. I'm just going to start here. Oops. It doesn't go too hard. You know what I like to do? Let's put this one up and make a staircase under it. so, like this. That. And I need to remember to do one here. I should just use my workhouse. This one now. And then it looks a bit brutalist, but that is fine because this is supposed to be part of a factory of sorts. Doing the window trick that makes every window look nicer. Put a torch on the second floor so we don't get crazy mob noises. I kind of like the attic. Me crash. We need more. And more. All that's left is the first floor flooring, so since you have this should be a really fast process. I'm using surface glue. see what cool design the flooring should get. So they definitely don't want to run to the walls, so I think a kind of warning zone should be useful against the walls. So let's put these here. Did I see free iron? Yes, I did. I was never supposed to use steam iron. The rest of them, I'm going to go with tiles. So we have it. This is one more building done. Now we're going to try to build the boiler room next. Finished the admin building, first 2 layers, and this fine polishing building. Look forward to seeing you all on the next one, where we will finish more of the quarry. Bye.